The F-35 was built to dominate for decades. By early 2025, more than 1,100 have been delivered across the globe, with program goals aiming for roughly 3,500 over its lifetime. The fleet has already logged over 1 million flight hours, underscoring its scale. Yet while other top defense contractors shift towards sixth-generation designs with AI copilots and adaptive engines, Lockheed Martin finds itself absent from America's official next-gen programs. Instead, its leadership proposes a Super Lightning upgrade, claiming it could deliver much of sixth-gen performance at far lower cost. Whether that pitch secures its future is another matter. From fleet leader to question mark. By early 2025, the F-35 stands as the core of Western air power. Operated in 3 variants by the US Air Force, Navy, and Marine Corps, it anchors a network of allied fleets stretching from the Arctic to the South Pacific. About 1,100 plus have been delivered worldwide, and Lockheed Martin reports the fleet has surpassed 1 million cumulative flight hours. More than 15 nations fly it in roles ranging from frontline interception to deep strike, and as network command hubs linking 4th and 5th generation assets. In scale and availability, no rival stealth fighter force comes close. That reach is more than a statistic. In 2025, Israel's F-35I jets reportedly executed deep strike missions against targets across the region, leveraging their stealth and standoff weaponry. In Europe, US and allied F-35s regularly conduct NATO air policing and intercept operations from Iceland to the Baltic, projecting a visible deterrent in contested airspace. Exercises across multiple theaters now integrate F-35 squadrons into complex simulated battles, with the jets feeding sensor data to allied aircraft and ground networks in real time. Interoperability has been central to the program's appeal. Nation-specific weapons and software adaptations exist, but all operators share a common platform capable of advanced data fusion and secure communications. Joint training has smoothed differences in tactics and procedures among partner air forces. For many countries, the F-35 isn't just another aircraft. It is the operating system for coalition-wide air combat. That said, production has not been entirely without disruption. While manufacturing has been steady over the long term, the rollout of the Tech Refresh 3, TR3, hardware and software upgrade caused a temporary delivery hold. A backlog of finished aircraft went into storage awaiting software readiness, and deliveries resumed only under an interim configuration, pending future updates. It was a reminder that keeping such an advanced platform on schedule and combat ready depends as much on software integration as on airframe assembly. The original vision for the F-35 anticipated decades of uncontested dominance among 5th-generation designs. Hundreds more aircraft are on order, and assembly lines are booked years in advance. Yet defense ministries are increasingly weighing whether resources should shift towards 6th-generation fighters rather than expand F-35 fleets indefinitely. This isn't just long-term force planning. It is an active debate shaping procurement decisions today. In the United States, the Air Force's Next Generation Air Dominance Program and the Navy's F/A-Roman-20 initiative are pushing ahead without Lockheed Martin in the lead role. These efforts aim to deliver sensor ranges, weapons integration, and adaptive propulsion systems beyond the F-35's designed envelope. Being absent from that leadership tier means more than missing contracts. It can influence perceptions about which companies will define the next era of air combat. Abroad, key allies are pursuing their own advanced fighter programs. The UK, Italy, and Japan are jointly developing the Global Combat Air Program. France, Germany, and Spain are moving forward with the Future Combat Air System. Both aim to leapfrog current generation capabilities and secure a technological edge over rival powers. Lockheed Martin, for all its dominance in fielded stealth fighters, is not central to these multinational 6th-generation projects. This leaves the F-35 in a dual position, unmatched in operational presence, yet exposed to strategic obsolescence pressures. Advances in radar sensitivity, passive detection, electronic warfare, and unmanned teaming threaten to erode many of the advantages stealth fighters enjoy today. The pace of change is accelerating, making it possible for even highly capable platforms to be outclassed faster than in previous generations. Within the US, the question is one of balance. Should funds and engineering talent focus on stretching the F-35's capabilities further, or migrate toward aircraft designed without the constraints of earlier designs? Service branches have already committed to all new flagships in their upcoming fleets, signaling a willingness to move beyond the current baseline. For Lockheed Martin, that raises the stakes on keeping its signature fighter relevant through major evolution rather than incremental tuning. It is a precarious balance. The F-35's large installed base is a major advantage. Replacing it wholesale before the end of its planned service life would be logistically and financially difficult for every stakeholder involved. At the same time, adversary forces are expected to introduce improved counter-stealth technologies, better sensor fusion, and high-volume drone support operations, all designed to challenge fighters like the F-35 from multiple angles. Sunk costs offer no protection against those rising threats. Recognizing this, Lockheed has sought to position the F-35 not as a static legacy platform, but as a continuously modernized system. This is where the proposed advanced variant concept gains strategic weight, not as a marginal update, but as proof that the current airframe still has room for significant capability growth. For operators, the calculus will vary. Some air forces will want every available upgrade at the earliest opportunity, while others will prioritize cost control and compatibility with their existing jets. Any enhanced version must deliver performance gains large enough to warrant adoption without pricing out the allies who form the core of the program's global reach. Today, the program sits at a crossroads between two contrasting narratives. In one, the F-35 remains the indispensable cornerstone of allied air combat for years to come. In the other, exclusion from leading sixth-generation projects marks the start of a time-limited dominance, with its technological overmatch gradually eroding. Ensuring that the first storyline continues to define the aircraft requires demonstrating that what's flying now is still among the most advanced fighter capabilities available anywhere. That reality is what sets the stage for assessing the aircraft as it exists today, before considering how far it could still evolve. What the current F-35 really offers. In 2025, most newly fielded F-35s align with what's often called the Block 4 configuration. Externally, the jet still matches the familiar profile, a single-engine, single-seat stealth fighter capable of about Mach 1.6, powered by the Pratt & Whitney F-135, producing over 40,000 pounds of thrust with afterburner. Combat radius remains around 670 nautical miles on internal fuel, and it can stay transonic while carrying weapons internally, preserving its low observability. The fundamentals are consistent, but under the skin, the differences matter more than the silhouette. Many recent airframes have been built with the new Tech Refresh 3 TR3 hardware, a computing backbone meant to unlock Block 4 expanded capabilities. However, the TR3 software rollout ran into delays and stability issues, with test pilots noting occasional mid-flight system resets during early trials. These problems triggered a halt in deliveries through much of 2023. Production continued, but completed jets were stored until deliveries resumed in phases, first with a stripped-down interim software load in 2024, and then with incremental updates into 2025. This staged approach means that even among Block 4 capable aircraft, not all features are live yet across the fleet. When functioning as intended, Block 4 brings three core combat advantages: more powerful computing to process and share far greater volumes of sensor data, integration of new and longer-range weapons, and upgrades to electronic warfare and targeting systems. Its APT-81 radar works alongside improved electro-optical targeting, the distributed aperture system, and updated radar warning receivers, giving pilots a wide and fused view of the battle space. Over time, certain U.S. aircraft are planned to receive the F-35 active electronically scanned array radar, which promises higher resolution tracking and greater resistance to jamming. Though this sensor leap is still in the development and integration phase rather than in operational service. Stealth remains central to how the aircraft fights. From the front and side aspects, its radar cross-section is comparable to a small object, ensuring that older fighter radars have trouble detecting it early. Design features like edge-aligned surfaces, an S-duct inlet masking the engine face, and exhaust treatments help suppress radar and infrared signatures. For missions aimed at advanced surface-to-air missile networks, these characteristics still allow entry where non-stealth aircraft must operate from standoff range. Real-world operations between 2022 and 2025 have shown what this means. U.S. Marine Corps F-35Bs from amphibious ships in the Pacific have simulated strikes into defended island chains, using targeting data from unmanned scouts and relaying those to surface vessels for follow-on missile shots. Over the Baltics, U.S. Air Force and Royal Air Force F-35 as on patrol have shadowed foreign aircraft while remaining electronically silent, tracking via passive sensors. In the Middle East, Israeli F-35s have reportedly penetrated defended airspace to hit radar sites, relying on stealth and onboard electronic warfare to avoid engagement. Exercises have been equally revealing. In a 2023 U.S. Air Force scenario simulating a denied A2AD environment, Block 4-equipped F-35 used their fused sensor picture to lead coordinated, multi-axis strikes with allied fourth-generation fighters. Pilots could prioritize high-value targets amid decoys and heavy jamming, compressing engagement timelines. In another test, U.S. Navy F-35CS integrated with carrier defenses to detect and intercept low-flying cruise missile surrogates before they reached the fleet. This flexibility underpins why the jet is still prized. It's not only a shooter, it's an airborne command and sensing hub, able to feed targeting data to other aircraft and ground forces in real time. Weapons loadouts add to that adaptability. Internally, it can carry combinations of air-to-air missiles and precision bombs while retaining low signature. When stealth is less critical, external pylons boost payload. Block 4 widens the menu, bringing newer GPS and laser-guided bombs, enhanced anti-ship missiles, and expanded electronic attack options. Pilot interface remains a distinct strength. The helmet-mounted display replaces conventional gauges with projected symbology, video feeds, and targeting information, all integrated by Block 4 faster processors. More of the incoming sensor data becomes useful without overloading the pilot in combat. Even in its current form, the design is meant to absorb changes. Components, hardware and software, are modular to allow upgrades without replacing the aircraft outright. This was deliberate to keep the airframe viable through mid-century. For propulsion, there's been discussion of adaptive cycle engines from the Air Force's AETP program. Prototypes have flown, but fitting them across the fleet proved politically and logistically complex, leading the Joint Program Office to focus instead on an F-135 engine core upgrade to deliver needed performance and thermal margins without a complete re-engining. Survivability in practice is more than low detectability. Block 4 enhanced electronic warfare features can automatically jam or deceive radars and missile seekers once they lock on, buying time for the pilot to evade or finish the mission. Against modern, multi-band SAM systems, these automated defenses can be decisive. From 2022 to 2025, the fleet's record suggests the current F-35 remains highly capable against advanced air defenses. The combination of stealth, sensors, and network targeting keeps it relevant even as counter-stealth measures evolve. That solid baseline is why discussions about upgrades focus on building further rather than replacing the architecture outright. Initiatives such as the proposed Super Lightning are framed as evolutionary steps, bringing in capabilities like autonomous drone teaming, improved coatings, and engine or cooling enhancements. These are ideas often associated with aircraft still on the drawing board for the next generation, but many of them could in theory be folded into the F-35 structure without eroding its core advantages. The relevant debate is no longer about whether the Block 4 standard can fight, it has proven it can, but about how long that edge can be sustained in the face of changing adversary technology. That question is growing sharper as rival programs aim to leap beyond today's capabilities entirely, with timelines converging in the coming decade. The sixth generation disruption. In the United States, sixth-generation combat aviation has shifted from theory to funded programs with defined timelines. The Air Force's next-generation air dominance effort, a deliberate system of systems approach, is now in active development. At its center is a Boeing-led manned fighter, often referred to in defense circles as the F-47, with surrounding families of supporting systems, autonomous drones, advanced sensor networks, and resilient battlefield communications. While program goals include technologies such as adaptive cycle engines for greater range and performance, integrated AI copilots to manage data and coordinate unmanned teammates, and spectrum-wide signature control, these remain targets rather than operational realities. The Navy's Parallel F/ a Roman 20 program follows the same philosophy, but is purpose-built for carrier use, prioritizing unrefueled reach for operations in the Pacific, flexible payload options, and maritime hardened systems. Both services aim to leap beyond the incremental upgrade model that defined prior generations. The concepts start with stealth as only one layer in a broader survivability package, integrating distributed and passive sensors throughout the airframe and interconnected systems. Networked in real time, these aircraft are envisioned to serve simultaneously as strike platforms, reconnaissance nodes, and battle managers. AI decision aids could reduce pilot cognitive load, enabling manned crews to orchestrate multiple unmanned assets in contested environments without losing situational awareness. Among the most potentially disruptive elements are loyal wingman drones, autonomous or semi-autonomous aircraft equipped for sensing, jamming, decoy, or strike missions. They would operate in concert with manned fighters, probing defenses or engaging targets while keeping human pilots out of the most dangerous positions. Program objectives call for seamless in-flight retasking of manned-unmanned formations, allowing strike packages to adapt quickly to changing threats. Abroad, Allied governments are advancing parallel sixth-generation plans. The Global Combat Air Program, led by the United Kingdom in partnership with Italy and Japan, aims for the mid-2030 with an emphasis on sensor fusion, advanced propulsion studies, and human-machine teaming competitive with US developments. On the continent, the France-Germany-Spain Future Combat Air System targets a similar in-service window, built around a combat cloud, linking a next-generation fighter to drones, satellites, and ground networks. Both mirror the US approach of pairing an advanced crewed platform with autonomous systems under a shared digital battle space, adding pressure on timelines and reinforcing the shift in force design. China and Russia are also pursuing their own paths toward post-fifth-generation capabilities. Public information is limited, but reporting suggests Chinese research into adaptive propulsion, multi-domain networking, and pilot drone teaming, while Russian work appears more focused on affordability and integrating hypersonic strike into stealth platforms. Even if these efforts trail the US or its closest allies in certain technologies, their existence accelerates the imperative for sixth-gen readiness in Western planning. For Lockheed Martin, the change in procurement landscape carries strategic weight. Despite decades of dominance in the fifth-generation market through the F-35 and its experience with the F-22, it is not the prime contractor for either the Air Force's NGAD manned fighter or the Navy's F/ a Roman 20. That means the centerpiece aircraft in each service's future frontline mix will be designed and built without Lockheed in the lead role. The prime-level contractors will set architecture choices, shape sustainment models, and lock in proprietary frameworks that could define air combat for a generation. Lockheed remains engaged in advanced research, holds intellectual property from its NGAD bid, and maintains development capacity in key technologies such as avionics, sensors, and mission systems. According to CEO Jim Takelet's public statements, elements from its NGAD design work can be adapted for use on existing platforms, including the F-35 and even the F-22 where relevant. Yet the absence from prime status in the US manned 6th generation programs changes its degree of influence. Subsystem supply contracts sustain a technical presence, but they do not offer the same leverage over future upgrade schemes or overarching combat doctrine. For current F-35 operators, the emergence of these new aircraft ecosystems brings practical considerations. 6th generation fighters are likely to employ different software environments, logistics networks, and maintenance training regimes. Moving from an F-35-centric fleet to a force anchored by a 6th gen system could involve parallel supply chains for years, with associated costs and complexity. Each Air Force will have to weigh the potential capability advantage against the disruption and expense of introducing a fundamentally new design. The operational ambitions of 6th generation concepts go beyond higher speed or stealthier profiles. Adaptive engines aim to shift in flight between efficient cruise and high-thrust combat modes, potentially extending range by a quarter over today's stealth jets. AI support crews promise to filter and act on the torrent of sensor data that would overwhelm a single pilot, particularly in dense electronic warfare conditions. Distributed sensing means a formation can detect, track, and target threats without emitting from its own radar, reducing exposure to adversary detection. Loyal wingmen expand offensive and defensive options without adding more manned cockpits to the order of battle. Combined, these targeted advantages could make it difficult for even upgraded 5th generation aircraft to match the operational flexibility of clean sheet 6th generation designs. Airframes constrained by original assumptions, single crew workload, certain aspect-dependent stealth shaping, fixed propulsion, can integrate new tools, but rarely as deeply or efficiently as a platform conceived with them from inception. This gap is why procurement planners often earmark entirely new designs for leaps in capability, rather than relying exclusively on legacy platform development. For Lockheed Martin, the structural challenge is clear. Their F-35's production line and global sustainment network ensure its presence into mid-century, but leadership in defining the next era belongs to those shaping the first operational 6th generation fleets. Without a prime role in NGAD or F/a Roman 20, Lockheed must look for other ways to influence and participate in that future battle space. The company's approach, publicly signaled in recent years, has been to reframe its flagship fighter not as a legacy design frozen in time, but as a platform with headroom for major capability growth. Advanced avionics from future programs, next-generation weapon integration, improved thermal management from adaptive engine research, and manned-unmanned teaming concepts could, in theory, be adapted to the F-35's architecture. If those capabilities can be brought to service quickly and affordably, the argument follows that the gap to 6th generation designs could be narrowed enough to preserve relevance. This is the competitive environment in which new proposals are taking shape. For Lockheed, maintaining its position in the world's most capable air forces now depends on translating its research and design investments into upgrades that matter to current operators, and doing so before the 6th generation fleets arrive in numbers. Conception of the Super Lightning.